1.1, 1.2 worked with just conversions between metric to metric and imperial to imperial. 1.3 works on the conversions between the two. So you need to be able to change, for instance, miles per hour into kilometers per hour or meters per second. So we need to figure out, using our ratios, which are given on page 9, how do we convert from an imperial measurement to a metric measurement? So again, I say the most common one would be taking 100 kilometers per hour and have to change it to miles per hour. So in order to do that, I need to set up my proportion. Okay, so I want miles up here and kilometers are down here. So looking at the top of the page, on page 9, it says that my ratio of 1 mile gives me 1.609 kilometers. So if I want to find out how many miles per hour 100 kilometers per hour is, I use the proportionality 1 mile to 1.609 kilometers. So now what do I do with the numbers? Somebody said it. Divide. Okay. You multiply across the top first, but 100 times 1 is just 100, right? And then I divide by whatever's on the bottom. Well, what's on the bottom?
1.609.
So take 100 and divide it by 1.609, and what do you get?
62.15. 62.15. Or do you want 3?
That's okay. Miles per hour. 62.15 miles per hour. Okay? All right, so there's an example of why we want to do this. We want to be able to figure it out. Now, lots of times when we're doing things, so you can see that 100 kilometers an hour is almost 60 miles. Well, there's also 60 minutes in an hour, right? So if I consider it, if I can convert kilometers to miles, then I can easily find out how long it's going to take me to get somewhere if I'm traveling the speed limit. Fair enough? So for example, it is, I'll say 80 kilometers, even though it's 79. 80 kilometers to get to Yorkton. So if I can find out how many miles that is, this should be the approximate amount of time it takes for me to get there. So let's take 80 kilometers and divide it by 1.609.
49.72.
Thank you. So then that means then if it's 49.72 miles, and I'm going approximately 60 miles per hour, then it should take us 49.72 minutes to get to Yorkton, if I travel 100 kilometers an hour the entire way. Does anyone understand that? Yeah. Now, that's not so easy to do without a calculator, although you all have phones and you're all going to figure it out your own way. But if you want to do a rough idea as to how far something happens, if I take 48 kilometers and I want to quickly figure out how the heck do I turn that into miles, I'm going to do it in a different way, but I'll tell you. So I times it by 5 over 8. Now it doesn't seem that simple. So if I'm traveling on the highway and I'm going on a trip and I want to find out how many miles it's going to be, I times it by 5 over 8. Well, that's not exactly what I do. I actually take the number of kilometers, divide it by 8, and then times it by 5. So what's 48 divided by 8? 6. 6 times 5 is? 30. So 48 kilometers is approximately 30 miles. So when you're doing math in your head while you're traveling, take the number of kilometers, divide it by 8, get an approximate number, and then times it by 5, and that'll tell you how many miles it'll be. Okay? And usually I'll round to the closest number to get an idea. But that gives you a general idea. So as you're traveling and you see these signs when you're driving, it's never, to me, I want to always find out how long it's going to take me to get there. This gives you an idea as to how to do it. Okay? All right. Let's look at an example that they give us now. Here's one. Here's an interesting one. The land speed record is the fastest speed achieved on land by any wheeled vehicle. A turbofan-powered car holds the current record. The car reached a speed of 766.609 miles an hour for 1 mile, breaking the sound barrier. Express the statement about the car's speed in kilometers per hour. Okay, so let's start with that. So let's put this down on your paper now. 766.609 miles per hour. Okay? And I want to change it first to kilometers per hour. So kilometers goes up here, miles goes on the bottom. So I flip to page 9. I don't even have to. You just did it. How many kilometers per mile? 1.609. 1.609 kilometers in 1 mile. So now what do I do with, in the math part of this? Multiply it. So I take 766.609 times 1.609. And how many kilometers an hour is that?
1,233.47
Yeah, like 2 to the 3 decimal places, 474?
Yeah.
Kilometers per hour. So 1,233.474 kilometers per hour. Okay? At 15 degrees Celsius, the speed of sound, so the sound barrier, is 116 feet per second. This speed is given a measurement called Mach 1. How many miles per hour above Mach 1 was the car's top speed? So I want to change 1,116 feet per second. All right, you want to know why I set up all the questions the way I did last week in this proportionality? This is why right here. I need to convert this to miles per hour. Okay? So now, once I have that number written down, I need to change feet into miles. Okay? So I'm flipping back, and I'm looking on page 5, because it actually gives it to me. So go to page 5. So I'm going to change how many feet are in a mile? 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Now what do I have to change?
Divide.
Well, not yet. I got to change something else. What else do I have to change?
Is that 5 or
Seconds.
seconds?
Seconds.
Seconds to hours?
To what?
Seconds to hours.
Seconds to hours. All right. So I'm going to write seconds on top and hours on the bottom. 1 hour has how many seconds in it? 3,600 seconds in it. Perfect. Okay? So now, what am I going to do on my calculator? Just tell me what I'm going to do. Go ahead. Multiply what? And that's it? Excellent work. Excellent work. Take 1,116 times by 3,600 divided by 5,280. And what do we get? 760.90. Awesome, thank you. And that is miles per hour. So how much faster than the speed of sound did that car go approximately? What was it? About 6 miles an hour. Okay, just slightly less than 6 miles, or just slightly more than 6 miles an hour, actually.
How did you know to multiply or to divide the ones?
Which side of the line is it on?
On the top.
What's on the top?
Like the 1,116 divided by, or multiplied by 3,600. Did you divide it?
No, yes, remember it's like second.
Hey, question asked, stop visiting. Question asked, how did I know to multiply this, okay, and know to divide on the bottom? Well, that is 1 second. Do you agree with me? So what do I do in fractions when I multiply them? Let's start this again. If I have 3/4 times 5/7, what do I do?
Multiply the top and multiply the bottom.
Okay, so I would get 15 here, right? 28 on the bottom here. You agree?
Mm-hmm.
You're okay with that? Okay, so what if I had 3/4 times 5/6? I could still do the same thing, agreed?
Yep.
All right, but what happens if I can cancel something on the bottom and something on the top? Does 3 go into 6? How many times? Twice. So that leaves me with this, right? So now I get 5/8. Do you agree? Yep. So those of you that are, I'm going through this quickly. I'm just trying to set him up for the answer to his question. Okay, so it's 5/8, right? Okay, now if I had done this the long way, 3/4 by 5/6, that would give me 15/24. Agreed? And when I reduce it, I find out what goes into both, and I reduce it, correct? So that leaves me with, dividing both by 3, leaves me 5/8, agreed? Okay, now here's the thing. What does this line actually mean?
Divide.
It means divide, right? So I actually take 5 and I divide it by 8. Okay, if I didn't want to leave it as a fraction, I would take 5 and divide it by 8, right? Now why did I divide it by 8?
Because that's the denominator.
Because it's the bottom number, the denominator, right? Yeah. So over here, I multiply across the top and divide by anything that's on the bottom.
But you multiplied the 1,116 by the seconds, right?
No, I multiply 1,116 by 3,600. Because they're both on top of the fractions.
Okay.
Well, what did you do here? What did you do there?
Yeah, but
But what?
Doesn't the 3,600 go underneath?
Why would it go underneath?
Because that's where the seconds was.
Yeah, so I have the seconds units down here. So I need to cancel them out. So I have to put the seconds units up there then.
How many seconds do we have?
Okay.
So there's 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. Okay. So in order to cancel things out, I have to have one on top and one on the bottom. So when I set up my ratio, I need the seconds on top and the hours on the bottom. Because I want miles per hour, meaning the hours is on the bottom. Okay. So because the seconds is here, I have to put it on top of my proportionality. Okay. Now I could do this differently. Okay? I could do this in 2 steps. So those of you that are still struggling, you may want to watch this. So the first thing I would do is this. Okay, so take 1,016. Now what am I going to do? Alexander.
The feet cancel out.
The feet cancel out, that's right. And what do I do with the numbers?
Multiply top and bottom.
Okay, so I multiply the top 1,116 by 1, and what do I get?
Same thing.
Same thing, right? And on the bottom I get the same thing, right? So then what do I do with those 2 numbers? I divide them. So I take 1,016 and I divide it by 5,280. What do you get?
0.2113.
Okay, don't take that off your calculator, please. So that is now miles per second. But I want miles per hour, correct?
Yes, yes.
So now I put the seconds here, which is the 3600, is equivalent to 1 hour, so the seconds can cancel out.
Okay.
Follow that?
Yeah.
2 steps?
Yeah.
So I combined it all in 1 step to do it. All right, so that was a good question. Austin's question was, why did I multiply and then divide? Why are the seconds on top and not on the bottom? Because in order to cancel units, when you use these proportionalities, you have to have one on the top and one on the bottom in order to cancel them. So if the seconds was on the bottom to begin with, I have to put the other one on top when I use my proportionality. Okay? Like I said, that's a question that's the hardest thing that you can do. Not only that, we're now going to change. So I had that answer. Where do I have? So now it says how many miles per hour above Mach 1 was the car's top speed? You said it was almost 7, right? Miles an hour?
Yeah.
How many kilometers an hour per hour above Mach speed was it? So now let's change. Here's the hard part. I want to change 1,016 feet per second. I want to change it into kilometers per hour. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the seconds. So where does the seconds go?
On top.
On top. Because they got to cancel and hours goes on the bottom. Now once I've established that, now I need to know what my ratio is. So what's my ratio of seconds to hours? 3,600 seconds to 1 hour. Right? Now I want to change, if I can, this is the hard one, I need to change feet to kilometers. So just look at page 9. Is there a feet to kilometers in there?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yes. That's right.
Exactly. Kilometers.
Say it again.
Change it to miles into kilometers.
I could. So I have two choices. Rex says change to miles, then to kilometers. Ron says change to meters, then to kilometers. Either one works. So I'm going to go with what's that?
You might get a different answer though.
No, you'll get the same answer. Okay, you'll be off, I shouldn't say that. You will be off by decimals because they have already used those decimals. Yes. But both are acceptable.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to do what Rowan said. I'm going to change to meters first. So I have to put the feet on the bottom and the meters on top. So looking at page 9, what is my ratio of feet to meters? 0.3048
Yeah.
meters
Yeah.
in 1 foot? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. I like it. So now I have, what is my measurement now? My measurement now is, what's the units that are left?
Meters.
Per
Hours.
hours, right? But I need what? I need kilometers, so I gotta change meters to kilometers. So I do one more line, I put kilometers up here and meters on the bottom. What's my ratio of kilometers to meters?
1 kilometer equals
1,000
meters.
1,000. Okay. So far, so good. All units have canceled. I'm left with kilometers per hour. What do I do with the numbers now?
Multiply the numerators.
Multiply the numerators and
Divide on the end.
divide by 1,000 in the end. Basically, is what happens here. We agree? All right, let's do that. I want everybody doing this, so that I know when you get your calculators doing it right. Go ahead. You have the answer? What do you got?
1,224.56.
5, 6 what? 3 decimal places.
4.564.
564 kilometers per hour. All right, everybody got that as their answer?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Realistically, the calculator work is the easy part of this unit. Should be. It's going to be setting up your proportionalities that's going to cause some of you some grief. Okay? So make sure that you can set those up as is. Any questions? Anybody not get that answer? You need help with that? Yeah, man.
If you did it to change it to miles and then to kilometers, would you just do
Let's do that.
would you just do put the miles where the meters is?
To feet? Yeah.
And then
And
times
then
it?
kilometers to, yeah. Okay, this is a good question. How would I change this? Well, I'll do it completely. That way you see it. Feet per second times 3,600 seconds is to 1 hour. Get rid of that and that. Times miles. So I want miles. And that is 5,280, no, sorry. 1 mile goes on top. 5,280 feet go on the bottom. And then I want my kilometers, which was 1.609 kilometers to 1 mile. And again, I'm canceling units, top and bottom, and what am I left with? My units in the end, kilometers per hour. So now, mathematically speaking, using my calculator, what am I multiplying and what am I dividing? Okay. So I take 1,116 times 3,600 times 1.609 and divide it by 5,280.
Yeah, the answer is a bit different.
Well, 24 and 302.
Okay, that's okay.
Whoa, what the?
Okay? Everybody's all right? Brock, you good?
Yeah.
Sure?
I'm just thinking.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? Go ahead.
Trying to think it's like a
Okay, now, other thing is, the order in which I did it doesn't have to be the same when I'm using my proportionalities, because when I multiply and divide, it doesn't matter what order they're in. A times B is the same as B times A. So I could change this after this or before, it doesn't matter. Because you just multiply everything on top and divide by everything on the bottom. Alright, so that answer was 1,224.564. And Mach 1 in kilometers per hour was, I'm just trying to find it. Oh, I see, they changed it differently. Anyways, okay, so it was 9 kilometers an hour faster than Mach 1. Faster than the speed of sound. Alright. You have 45 minutes to complete 1.3 today. Okay? Any questions?
Yeah.
No, no music today.
Your last two.
Which one would you prefer? Or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter, Danny. Whatever. I'm always about multiplying, so I like having as much as I can on top number-wise, and then on the bottom as little as possible, but I don't care. Okay, there's a couple of questions. Please let me shut the camera off and I'll answer some questions. Martin, quiet.
Can I please go to the washroom?
No, you're gonna wait.